Let's try and create as many little financial foot soldiers on the ground working for you so that they can be doing, your dollars can be doing the work for you. You realize that money works 24 hours a day. You cannot. So the more you can have your money actually doing the heavy lifting for you, the further you can get. Hey guys, Matthew Pillmore here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. I wanted to give you a couple quick pointers on the debt weapon acquisition process, as we're in a constant state of looking for more capital. It's never a point where we say, hey, you know what, we've got too much money now. So this is a very important piece that tends to vary from people's traditional education. We're often taught that minimizing access to credit is the best approach. That's actually far from the truth. In fact, when the economy changes, not if, but when, you're going to want to have as much money stockpiled as possible in order to take advantage of the many, many opportunities to create enormous sums of wealth during that time. And the way to do that is to start focusing on that process now. Again, at no point are we ever considering ourselves done preparing for the next applications. Now, why is it so important to constantly be adding new capital to your collection? We don't use most of what we have, so the question I often get is, why do we keep adding more? We know that a recession is on its way. We know that it's going to leave many opportunities to create wealth that we've never imagined before. And you can have that same opportunity as long as you have enough money sitting on the sidelines ready to be used. So we're always looking to grow our collection, but in order to do this safely, it's very important to understand that there are several considerations you must be thinking about. The first is, which tool is right for the purpose that you intend to use it for? You have to ask yourself, what is it I'm trying to accomplish? A real estate investor will need to be focusing on different types of capital versus somebody that is wanting to grow a business, versus somebody that's wanting to start a business, versus somebody that wants to pay down or off their mortgage and their non-mortgage related debts. All of these require different tools to accomplish that in an expeditious timeline. So making sure that you're identifying the right tool first is very important. We can help you with that process. The second piece to that is knowing when to apply for it. If you're unfamiliar with the timing and frequency levels with which you should be applying for debt weapons, you can cause yourselves months or even years of harm, because the inquiry that's added to your credit report is going to have a negative impact against you. So making sure that we're limiting the frequency to between just 2 to 8 new debt weapons each year is a very important piece. We're never getting overly aggressive with our application process. All right, so obviously the final obligation is using these tools properly. You can't just simply get them. If they're not doing anything for you, you've only accomplished about half the battle. So we're gonna take these tools and we're gonna put them to work. We do that in 3 different ways. The first is we're gonna use them to increase our assets. We wanna have as many streams of income as possible. We want to invest in assets that produce revenue every month, which exceeds the cost of the money that we're borrowing. The second objective is to use these tools to rapidly eliminate our liabilities. As you've seen in all of our videos, we can take these and turn the banks against each other in order to accelerate not just the elimination of the debts, but rapidly increase the cash flow because we no longer have those minimum payment obligations. And simultaneously, we're eliminating the vast majority of the interest costs on most debts. If you look at the total interest that you're going to spend on your home loans and on your non-mortgage related debts over the course of your lifetime, we're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you want to invest in real estate, that number can even grow beyond $1 million. So to be able to save 50, 60, even as much as 80% of the interest costs that you would otherwise pay can be the difference between unnecessarily giving the bank hundreds of thousands of dollars or keeping it for yourself. The final reason that we get these debt weapons is to stockpile our emergency reserves. One of the biggest mistakes I hear other educators teach is to create liquid cash savings, both in your checking and savings accounts. When you put money aside in traditional bank accounts, the bank is using that money to create wealth, and instead, you're having to go to work to create wealth. Let's try and create as many little financial foot soldiers on the ground working for you so that they can be doing, your dollars can be doing the work for you. You realize that money works 24 hours a day. You cannot. So the more you can have your money actually doing the heavy lifting for you, the further you can get. So again, we're using these debt weapons to increase our assets, we're using them to eliminate our liabilities, and we're using them to stockpile emergency reserves for safety purposes that replace the need to have traditional savings. Guys, make sure that you're out there appreciating and taking action on the value of gaining access to new capital that you otherwise wouldn't have. Those of us that are doing that have a tremendous advantage over people who aren't doing it. And keep in mind, we keep saying it over and over again, there is a recession coming. And if you are collecting and stockpiling this capital, you will be one of the few people who can take advantage of the opportunities that come during that time. If you're not, you'll be left behind. If you haven't done so already, make sure you get your free coaching session. We'll put the link in the description below. I'm curious to know what types of capital accounts you've been relying on to create wealth. So make sure you put some comments on that as well. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel to remain eligible for all of our contests. We'd love to give away gift cards, help you jumpstart your cash flow maximization strategy. And if you want to see more content like this, if you want us to continue to elaborate on various types of debt weapon capital accounts, make sure you hit that like button as well. Guys, we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for checking us out. Until then, make it a great day and take care.